Welcome. Let's solve Leetcode 3151 special array 1. Okay, let's make this bigger so we can read it. An array is considered special if every pair of its adjacent elements contains two elements with different parity. Parity meaning it's either odd or even or odd. You are given an array of integers nums. Return true if nums is a special array. Otherwise, return false. So this first example is a little bit not helpful, but in any case, we have one number and they tell us it's true. Example 2 is probably a little bit better. So 2 is even and 1 is odd, so that satisfies the condition for a special array. Next, 1 is odd and 4 is even, so that continues the different parity. Hence, the expected return value is true. In this last example, we have two odd numbers that are adjacent. Hence, they expect false to be returned. Okay, that seems straightforward enough. So what I recommend that we do for this problem is use the fact that we know that and so we know this. We know this is true. So we can compare all of the numbers in an adjacent manner to check this. Okay, so let's do that. So we'll be checking the current index plus the next index. So we don't need to check the last index because we will check the last index, but only when we're checking the previous index. So we can say if we had this case, this would cause an out of bounds issue. So we don't want that. So again, we need to satisfy. We're going to check for this here. If we don't have it, then that means the parity is not different. So if this is the case, that means we just return false. However, if we loop through the entire list, we know we can return this. Okay, let's test it. Okay, looks good. Let's submit it. Okay, great. Now, since this was rather straightforward, why not try it in another language? So let's also try it in C++. Okay, so we'll be using the same exact approach. So let's do that. Again, I think it's very good to be familiar with more than one language. I think it just makes you a better developer, because it forces you to think slightly differently sometimes. And in some languages you may have to think entirely different. And I think when you have to come up with different approaches, I think there's advantages to that. Don't forget to add this here. Otherwise, we'll have an out of bounds exception. And we'll check the same thing. We'll check the adjacent pairs. We'll check the parity of the adjacent pairs. So nums. So this equals this. Is that right? Let's check. Let's test it. Okay, let's submit it. Okay, looks very good. Okay, great. Now remember, the key goal was to check the parity of the adjacent elements. And remember that we should all know that, or at least be aware of that, this statement is true. We should all be completely aware of this. So we're checking for that here. And if this statement is not satisfied, then we know it's false. Okay. If you found this video helpful or educational, please consider liking or subscribing. Other than that, have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. Cheers.